Ukraine has emerged as a world leader in drone warfare, using cheap but effective drones to deter Russian incursions and destroy enemy hardware that costs thousands of times more. FPV drones, which cost about $400, have proven to be stunningly effective at destroying armored vehicles, warehouses, and command posts, Bloomberg reports. According to estimates by the British RUSI, up to 70% of Russian equipment losses in 2025 were caused by drones. Ukrainian drones have already carried out raids as far as Siberia, hitting strategic targets, including air bases. Types of drones that are changing modern warfare: FPV drones, real-time precision strikes with video control. Kamikaze drones, glider systems with long flight times. Deep strike drones, Ukrainian analogues of Shaheds, hit oil depots and military factories in Russia. Sea drones, scaring Russian ships away from the Black Sea. Reconnaissance drones, provide artillery with accurate information, work even in buildings or forests. The world is learning from Ukraine. Taiwan, Israel, the EU, and the US are stepping up their drone programs, recognizing the new reality on the battlefield. Ukraine produced 1 million drones in 2024, plans to produce 2.5 million in 2025. More than 500 companies, from startups to giants, are competing for innovation. More than $2.5 billion has been allocated for local production. The latest technologies allow drones to operate autonomously, overcoming jamming and GPS spoofing. Isolating the operator from direct control increases the survivability of the equipment. Russia is trying to catch up by launching mass production in Tatarstan, creating anti-drone corridors, but new Ukrainian tactics have already changed the front. Drones have become the main weapon of the modern battlefield, and the recent special operation, Web, is a symbol of their evolution in Ukraine. FPV drones, kamikaze drones, reconnaissance drones and naval drones, these technologies are radically changing the tactics of combat, replacing expensive systems with cheap, mobile solutions. Operation Spiderweb is a large-scale campaign by the SBU to use autonomous and networked drones that work in sync like a spider web, detecting, tracking, and destroying the enemy in real time. The Ukrainian army uses them to break through defenses, disorient Russian forces, and carry out pinpoint strikes deep in the rear, particularly against air bases. The special operation of the Security Service of Ukraine, codenamed Spiderweb, was necessary to improve the security situation amid constant Russian attacks on civilian infrastructure and the population. This could happen again, Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal told France 24. According to the head of government, for Ukraine this was a very targeted military operation, especially against the backdrop of negotiations that are not bringing progress. We have been proposing a complete ceasefire for 2 months now, and the Russians still do not agree. They continue to attack Ukraine every night, every day. There are constant missile and drone attacks on civilian infrastructure. Therefore, we have no choice. We must destroy their military potential and not give them the opportunity to do this, Shmyhal noted. Web proves that innovation and new technologies play a decisive role in this war, the Prime Minister added. Shmyhal notes that technologies are changing the battlefield. Moreover, he stated that Ukraine has many other ideas to improve this capability. He noted, "This is not just an episode, it can happen again. We continue to work hard. You can already see the results in the Black Sea, and we are clearing our airspace of Russian bombers." At the same time, he noted that Ukraine needs long-range missiles from its allies to destroy Russian logistics in the occupied territories and near the border. Operation Spiderweb was a large-scale attack by SBU and GUR drones on Russian air bases on June 1, 2025. The strikes destroyed or damaged at least 13 strategic aircraft, including Tu-95, Tu-160, and A-50. It was one of Ukraine's most successful air operations, demonstrating Russia's vulnerability deep in the rear and reducing its ability to launch missile strikes. Colonel Yuri Ignat, spokesman for the Ukrainian Air Force, told Ukrainska Pravda that from these carriers, since February 24, 2022, the Russians have launched 2,437 Kh-101, Kh-555, Kh-55 cruise missiles at Ukraine. Of these, 1,916 were shot down. This is the result of truly effective work by the air defense, all the defense forces, specifically against cruise missiles. At the same time, a considerable number, about 500, reached their targets or were not shot down, Ignat noted. In addition, he added, during the SBU operation, Web 2-22M3 bombers armed with Kh-22 and Kh-32 missiles were also hit. The Russians used more than 400 of these missiles against Ukraine and only a few were intercepted by air defense. Because the Kh-22 missile is one of the most powerful, it has a warhead of over 900 kilograms. In addition, it is one of the least accurate missiles. It is called the aircraft carrier killer because its purpose is to attack aircraft carrier groups. The enemy has repeatedly attacked cities with a population of over 1 million, causing enormous harm to the population. There were many victims of this missile, the Air Force press secretary explained. For more than 3 years, most of Russia has been watching the war in Ukraine from afar. However, now Russians say that the war has reached their doorstep. This is stated in the article of the publication Radio Liberty. It is known that on June 1, drones struck air bases in the Irkutsk, Murmansk, Ryazan and Ivanova regions of the Russian Federation, shocking Russian authorities and citizens. It was hell, said residents of the Irkutsk region on the air of the Siberian Realities program. In particular, in Siberia, which is located 4,000 kilometers from the scene of the events, residents were shocked by such attacks. Now the war has reached us, they said. As reported by the publication, at least one transport aircraft was destroyed as a result of the UAV attack at the Belia military base in the Irkutsk region. According to one of the eyewitnesses, the attack lasted for about an hour and a half. I watched this whole nightmare through binoculars. It was a truly terrible sight, a witness told the publication. He added, first we heard an explosion and saw a huge column of smoke. At first I thought another plane had crashed, a bomber had fallen from this airfield 2 months ago. Then I definitely saw 4 strong explosions. Because after each of them, gray smoke began to burst out. And when they hit the transport plane, it seemed like the entire airfield was engulfed in flames. Another eyewitness from the city of Buret noted that his house shook several times from the blast wave. In turn, local authorities in Irkutsk called on residents of the region to remain calm, but some of them say they are tired of the war. The war has been going on for 4 years, what will happen in the 5th? You don't know how to fight, you don't know how to make peace, don't disgrace yourselves, one of the local residents emphasized. Residents doubt that the Russian authorities are capable of protecting them from such incidents. In particular, they wonder how it was possible to bring a truck so far into the country and use it in the operation. How? How is this possible? How did they let these trucks through? So many questions, asked another resident. In turn, the governor of the Murmansk region Andrei Chibis also confirmed the attack by UAVs, which were launched from a truck parked near Olenogorsk. Witnesses in the area said they heard at least 10 explosions at the airbase. A war has begun in Olenogorsk. Smoke from explosions is rising beyond the forest, said one local resident.